We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Brain the Vampire. It's a weird
It's
name.
sticking.
It's a weird one.
It has stuck.
All right, Brain says he really appreciates us answering his initial questions last week. Apparently, he's not offended by me butchering his name. He took my advice and walked through a model home and spoke with the AV vendor. After doing so, he decided to just go with the wall-mounted flat panel and save the projector setup for a dedicated theater he wants to build in his basement in the future. He also made a typo last week. His budget for the AV setup in his great room is $15,000, not $5,000. That's a little bit of a typo, dude.
It makes a difference.
Not slight.
It makes a significant difference.
Yeah. For the layout, he has decided to have the large pixel window on his left. The right side will be completely open to the dining area and kitchen. The back wall has two smaller windows on either side of where his seating will go. I'm guessing the picture is up at this point.
It is, yes.
And the front wall separates the great room from the office. With the layout more or less settled, the AV vendor suggested 5 in-ceiling speakers, all from Speakercraft.
Of course they did.
Shocking. I wonder why. Oh, I remember. The Speakercraft has an incredible amount of markup. That's why. What are our opinions on his layout ideas and plans to go with the flat panel instead of a projector for now? I have no problems with you laying it out however you want to lay it out. This is fine.
Yeah, no, I think the layout makes absolutely perfect sense in this setup. It's not actually what either of us suggested last week, but this is a perfectly reasonable way to do things. One difference is he sent an updated drawing, so more or less is like this often happens with I guess this is a house design where there's multiple houses being built with a similar design. So this is like a mirror image of the diagram he had last week, but this is going to be the actual layout in his place. And the diagram that he showed last week, the wall going between the great room and the office was a smaller wall than what he's showing in this current diagram. So that was the reason I didn't think that in the initial diagram that he sent that was the best wall to put your display on, because it was kind of a short wall that didn't extend very much into the room. But this is a longer wall. It makes perfect sense. And again, if you went for the projection setup, either you have a really big, frame projection screen sitting on that wall, or if you do a drop down one, this is an 11-foot ceiling in this place.
Yeah.
That is a lot of drops. So I think your plan is fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what are our opinions of the AV's vendor suggestions of 5 in-ceiling speakers? I think they love to suggest that because people think it's cool to have their speakers all disappear and stuff like that.
Right?
Yeah, I hate it. Hate it a lot. Hate it in all the ways that you can hate things that you hate. It's literally the worst place. I would rather put the speakers on the floor, kind of angled up, then put them on the ceiling and try to angle them.
It is the very last resort.
It is the worst. And you have high ceilings on top of that. It is not going to sound like the TV. The sound is coming from the TV. And I will bet dollars to donuts you're going to be in there and go, you know what? I'm just going to use the TV speakers because this sounds weird.
People do.
This sounds weird.
Yeah. Now, in-ceiling speakers for the surrounds, like we said last week, okay with that.
And
that's not.
If you wanted to do some Atmos speakers up there, you could do that too. This is kind of a small room for it, but you could. I would probably not.
The front 3, do not make the front 3 11-foot high in-ceiling speakers.
No, I would not do that. No. So Brian is familiar with Speakercraft, and the AIM 8 series that was recommended include 5 different models. Should you go with the vendor's recommendation? If so, which? And no, don't go with the vendor's recommendation. No. First of all, don't do in-ceiling speakers in the front for sure. That is, just don't do that. So I got no problems with Speakercraft. They have a huge presence, like a huge presence with these guys because they have a lot of what they call points basically, and you walk through CDO, which is the custom installation yearly trade show, and Speakercraft has a massive booth, and they're they have these people holding signs are like, earn money on your installs because, our speakers will cost you X and they retail for X plus a lot. So there's nothing wrong with Speakercraft speakers. They're perfectly fine speakers to put into things if you're not really going to listen to them ever. But
yeah, if you're going to put them all in the ceiling and go, gosh, that sounds like crap, we're going to use the TV's built-in speakers, then hey, lots of profit.
Whole room audio, I'd be fine with these. Okay, if you're just looking for some background, whatever, you could do a lot better, but whatever. So
do a lot better for a lot less money.
I want to be honest with you. I don't. Okay, because I know. Let's just go on. Brian's wife really wants the room to have a clean look. The previous house had visible speakers and wires, and she really, really wants to avoid that. So if all in-ceiling speakers aren't the way to go, whatever we suggest needs to be as close to invisible as possible. So what about suggestions? In-wall would be the next best way to do it. Flanking the TV on either side would be the next best way to do it. I'm actually going to say I don't think so. I think you should go with a nice 2-channel or 3-channel sound bar that's sort of attached to your TV so it looks like it's part of the TV. Your wife's okay with the TV. She's not okay with the speakers and the speaker wire. But if it looks like it's part of the TV, I think she'll be okay with this. You're sitting remarkably close to this thing. So if
what?
Isn't he? Like,
no, he's like 13 feet away.
Oh, wait a second here. That's that big?
Yeah, that's 15 feet across.
Oh, I see it now. All right.
Yeah.
In-wall speakers are the way to go. And I don't think, based on the size of this, is that going to be 15 feet the other way too, then, isn't it? It's probably going to have one big couch.
Yep. In that space in between the two windows on that wall. Yeah, I mean, my basic thought here was very similar. If you go in-wall, I'm like, just get CAF. Because, like if your installer is not familiar and comfortable installing KEF, fire them and get a different installer.
Yeah, exactly.
Because KEF works with everybody.
But what is this thing? Okay, it's very hard for me to understand this drawing. It looks like there's a window on the left wall where the front right speaker would be. What is that? Is that like a door? Is it a pass-through? What is that?
I'm thinking that's an optional pass-through to the office, so you can see from the office into the great room or something.
Is that the office back? Is that what that thing is right there? I thought that was like the front door. It looks like the front door.
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe that's the entry. Maybe that's why it's an optional light, an optional window. Okay, yeah, that could be the entry.
Because that's where you're going to want to put your right speaker. And if there is nothing there, then we have a new problem to deal with.
Right, yeah. If there's a window there in the way, that obviously you can't put an in-wall or even an on-wall speaker over a window, then yeah. But if you can just make that a wall, then yeah. I mean, I would suggest KEF for in-walls. If you're going to go on-wall, which is another option, because it doesn't have to be a soundbar. You could do some nice, slender on-wall speakers that are on either side of the TV and one center below it. I really like GoldenEar, which is another company that works with tons of installers, and installers love them. And if your installer doesn't want to install GoldenEar, fire them and hire somebody else, because they should.
Yeah.
So those are two brands. Now another brand that's really worth looking at is SnapAV. They don't sell directly to consumers, but they again sell to installers. To me, that's a much better sounding speaker at a much lower price than Speakercraft. Yeah. So options there. 3 really good companies to come at this any way that you want to. But yeah,
I would highly recommend that you try to make the in-wall speakers work. So you could put them flanking on either side of the TV and out a little bit if you can make it work, and then one underneath the TV for your center channel. If you really don't want to do that, you could get rid of the center channel and just run a Phantom. That's fine. I would go very minimalistic in here. I would get like a Marantz slimline receiver, and just try to make it as easy as possible for you to make this thing work. And I would go with in-walls because you can paint the grills, and happy wife is happy life. So getting the grills painted and making them look exactly like they're blending into the wall is going to make her happy. It's also going to stop her from moving them. Okay, and that's what my mom used to do. She used to push the speakers back when they were on stuff. She'd push them so she couldn't see them anymore. I'm like, if you can't see them, they're not in line of sight, Ma. You need so believe me, you just put them in the wall if you can. As far as subwoofers are concerned, did we get to the subwoofer question, or did I not
That's
read
the
that?
final one.
Right. What about the subwoofers considered the SVS a PB12 plus placed towards the front left corner? Should they consider something even bigger? You are never going to get your wife to agree to the. She's going to see the PB12 plus, and she is going to divorce you. So that is not an option. You are going to take a PC2000, and you're going to put it in either the front left or the back.
A cylinder?
Yeah.
Maybe. I was thinking, what about one of those new SB16 Ultras?
Dude, I have a feeling there's. I think it's too big. That big box is yes, okay. That's what he needs for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the Ultra, or maybe the Ultra Series cylinders as well.
PC
because they have a
Ultra,
flat top on them. You're like, it is a speaker and a plant stand. Okay, honey? It's a plant stand. You can put whatever you want up there as long as it doesn't actually have water in it. You put whatever you want up there. And it's just going to be off in the corner. Like, you could put a lamp on it, or something. Anything that you want on there. I think that is the solution. Your cylinder subs are your solution because you'll be able to dress them up and make them look like, a stand of some sort.
I mean, hey, I love cylinders, so I'm not gonna say no to that.
That's what I think.
But I agree that PB12 Plus that's a monster. There's nowhere to hide or camouflage that. It is massive.
Yeah, it's way too big. And before you buy any box sub from anybody, you have to build the box. You have to build the box. Yeah. This is a perfect time of year, Christmas. You'll have lots of cardboard lying around. Hey, if you need some cardboard, come to my house. I've got oodles of it from the crap we threw away this weekend. Build yourself the actual size of the box and then look at it and go, holy crap, it is a coffee table, but bigger and 250 pounds. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.